Visit thriverealestateeducation.com for free video CE. You really can't go wrong. 24/7, 365. Do your CE right online.
Hey everyone, Jessica Peterson here, out here in beautiful sunny Florida. I'm a real estate agent and the founder of SimplyWowAgency.com. Today, on behalf of Thrive Real Estate Education, I am interviewing someone who's pretty incredible. If you don't already know her, you probably should get to know her. Hey, Jess.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad you're here too. So you're up in Canada, right?
Right now I am. Yep. I tend to go back and forth a little bit, but COVID and things that have been going on recently have kept me here. So we are in snowy Toronto right now.
Beautiful snowy Toronto, right?
Beautiful snowy Toronto.
I love it. So anyone listening today, I know you're a highly successful real estate agent. Your mother was a highly successful real estate agent. You saw the struggles your mother went through. You see the pain a lot of real estate agents go through. I want to talk about that and how you help them. So you have been a multiple 7-figure earner, correct, in real estate?
Yep, absolutely.
That's incredible. So I want to hear a little bit more about the journey, the process, because I feel that's really important in, that step-by-step to go ahead and get there. So it's all yours. What do you have to share with all of our thrivers here?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start kind of at the beginning. I grew up in, like Jessica said, I grew up in real estate. My mom has been an agent for about 35 years. She's kind of winding down now, but so I kind of grew up in the industry, never really thought that I would be a realtor, to be honest. I, went to school for African and Caribbean studies. Not really sure what I thought I was going to do with that, but it was something I was interested in. And when I was 21, I came out of school and had no idea what I was going to do. So mom said, well, get your license and see if you like it. Like, at least try it out and see. So I did that, did a couple of deals and was like, oh, this is good money. To be perfectly honest, that's really what I got wooed by.
That's what we want. That's what we want. Raw and real. Let's just be completely honest here. I love it.
Yeah. And so I was like, I was so young. And one of my first deals that I ever did was a 7-figure deal. And so my commission I got from that was like $30,000. And I was like, that was the most money I'd ever seen in my life. And so I kept going, and I really just sort of floated around in real estate for a little while. I just sort of did the bare minimum. I was with Keller Williams, and I'm going to date myself, but in 2005, all they were teaching was, cold calling and door knocking, flyers, billboards, geo farming, things like that. And I remember going to all of these classes and thinking, I'm not going to do any of these things. This is not for me. And so there was this brand new thing called Facebook. And I started prospecting on Facebook. I started building relationships on Facebook and doing it with the classified section, which doesn't exist anymore. But that's really kind of where I started to gain some traction. Some of it was leases to start with, because I was so young and I looked like I was about 16. So even though I was in my 20s, I looked like a small child. And so from there, everything just sort of built from there. I was a multi 6-figure agent for, years. I did well. I was happy. I was comfortable. And then when I was in my late 20s, mid to late 20s, I met my husband, and I thought, what, if I'm going to do this, I at least want to give it a really good kick at the can. I felt like I was kind of not reaching my potential. And so I really shifted. I think the mindset shift that was the biggest thing for me was I stopped looking at myself as a realtor and I started looking at myself as a marketer. Mm-hmm. And the business really, and the business absolutely blew up, but a lot of the things that I was choosing to learn actually came from other industries. So I wasn't looking within the industry for how I was going to grow and scale my business. I was looking at what was working in other industries, other service-based industries. And I started bringing that into my business because I always felt like the way that so many people are taught to do things in real estate was outdated and kind of archaic. So, fast forward, we did 7 figures in the first 6 months that we really started shifting. And at the time, like I had no savings. So, we really went all in. I had a $30,000 line of credit, and we were like, well, we're going to do it. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And so I leveraged that line of credit, and obviously, we got all of it back and more. And then everything just sort of grew from there. I started growing a small team. I've never been a believer or a lover of really big teams. It's never really been something that I've been super drawn to. So we had a really small, really lean, high producing team. And yeah, I mean, like that's where we ended up. And we were doing, several hundred transactions a year, and my lifestyle was pretty awesome. So because my team was so I guess leveraged, but also reliable, I could go away for a month or two at a time, and everything would continue to run, and everything was cool bananas, and I would just check in. So it gave me the freedom and the ability to have the three things that I think most people get into real estate for, which in my opinion, or, a lot of the people that I talk to, it's the unlimited income. It's freedom, like freedom to set your own schedule, to build your own lifestyle, that kind of thing. And it's the impact to actually help people and to impact other people's lives within your community. And so I really kind of felt like I hit that trifecta. And then I had a bit of a midlife crisis. Well, a quarter life crisis. I don't know where I was in that. A bit of an existential crisis, and realized that I was, the next step of phase of my life was coming, and that I wasn't going to be selling real estate anymore. So that's sort of what happened, and kind of that's the Cliff Notes version of how I got to that point.
Okay, so there's so many gold nuggets you've said here. I really like. So first of all, you took that leap of faith with your mindset, investing. The 30,000. You found the Facebook. You learned from outside resources what actually works. You created a system where you could actually leave. And I absolutely agree with you on those three things that people absolutely love. So as why they get into real estate. So there's two things that next leads me to. I want you to expand a little bit more. Like, what was that breaking point for you? Like quarter life crisis. I like that term. I'm old enough probably to call it midlife crisis. But anyhow, so quarter life crisis. What was it that happened to you?
I just so I was in Hawaii, which it's not surprising, right? If anybody who's been to Hawaii, you just realize that there's something magical there, and it just kind of pulls you into like your better self. And so I'm driving along with my husband in this rented Jeep. I think I don't even know where we were, driving along some beautiful road, and I started to cry. And he looks over at me, he's like, "What in the world do you have to cry about right now?" And I just said, "I don't think I'm supposed to be selling real estate anymore." And it was a really big shock, I think, to him too, because I mean, our entire life and our lifestyle and everything was really geared around the business. And I just said, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't feel right anymore. And he said, "Well, what do you mean? Like, what are you going to do?" Like, you've been in this business for 15 years. Like, what are you going to do? And so that kind of became the conversation of, what, like, okay, fine. He's always been the most supportive person in the world. Okay, fine. But what's next? And, he really, really realized, and it was his reflection where he said, "The happiest that I ever see you, like the times that I really see you like light up, is when someone comes and knocks on your office door and says, 'How are you doing this?' Or like, 'Can you help me with this thing?' And really, like, that's the times that you look the happiest, and that you seem the happiest, and you seem the most engaged." And I, because I've been in the business for so long, like my best friend is a realtor. Like we have a lot of conversations about it. And, I said to her, "I don't know that I'm going to be 40 and selling real estate. There's just something about it that just feels not aligned. I feel like there's something else that I'm supposed to do. And that this and everything that I've built up to this point is the foundation or the stepping stone for me to get to that next level." So that's what happened. It wasn't like anything super dramatic. It was just something doesn't feel right anymore.
I can relate so much to what you said. And it's a scary moment.
Oh,
I
for
will be
sure.
completely open about that. It's a completely scary moment. So my background's mortgage banking, financial, a couple decades. I'm a numbers girl, love it. And then I went after my dream, my purpose, which is, the business coaching, consulting, marketing arena. And then I'm like, this isn't really my purpose anymore. My husband was in ICU. And I
Mhm.
talk about it, one of my books I'm giving away at createtheperfectday.com. And he was in ICU. And then my coach says, you've got to look at royalty income or revenue share. And I said, how am I going to do that? And she said, the answer will come. Anybody that knows me, I only have patience for children and pets. Otherwise, I don't have patience. So it was a very good learning lesson for me. And anyhow, fast forward, that's why I joined eXp Realty for the revenue share.
Mhm.
So I'm expanding and growing, and I'm teaching agents like you mentioned, make an impact, work less, make more money. But then this moment hit me, and I had to go hire an expert and take hours to really dive into what was my purpose at that moment.
Mm.
And he came back to me and he said, Jessica, your purpose right now in your life is coaching, consulting, half time, the other half time doing real estate.
Mhm.
And I was totally taken back because I've always been on the other end, right? And now I'm absolutely loving it. And it's a very scary moment, a very scary place. And anybody listening to this, I believe a really valuable gold nugget is when it hits you, listen to it.
Mm.
Even though it may not be the answer you want, who knows if Jess is still doing this, even a week from now, right? Or you could be doing this 20 years from now. Who knows? I haven't had too many careers. I guess you can kind of say I'm pretty, 10 years, my coaching, consulting, couple decades, mortgage banking industry, not very like thrilling and exciting. But when you look at it, really look deep within because the answers are out there for a purpose and
Mm.
calling. And I almost think you're doing yourself a disfavor by not doing it. I've watched you and you are incredible at helping people. And I'm a big fan of yours. And that's why I'm interviewing you.
Yeah,
I
thank
want
you.
everybody to know about you, all these thrivers out there, because I see so many in real estate just feel like they're surviving, like on the Survivor show. I always say you're on an island, survive like that, you're wanting to survive, and we want to take over the thrivers. And that's why we have you here, because I believe that is your purpose.
Mhm.
I believe that is one of your calling, and
Mhm.
I'm grateful to you. And so I want to have this conversation of stories of success, how you help people to
Yeah.
motivate people.
Yeah.
And then I also want to talk about the newbies, because what is it? Over 80% fail in the
Yeah.
business. So let's be open, raw, and real, how to help
Yeah.
those. And let's
Mhm.
talk about the ones who may be listening saying, wow, I am at the six figures. I've coached, I've worked with those people. And the biggest struggle is what's next?
Yeah.
What is next for us? So let's talk about how you've stories help people and advice for both different
Yeah.
spectrums of people.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I really think that like people's starting points, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you've been in the business for 30 years. And honestly, sometimes I think that people who have been in the business for 30 years have so many bad habits that it's almost easier to work on, on our end, it's easier to work with someone who's brand new and is coming in and is really, really hungry to learn the business in a different way, in a more modern way. So everything that we do within our organization, everything that I teach is very much geared around one to many. So I think there's a lot of people in the industry who teach a lot of one-to-one. It's have more like one-on-one conversations, lunches, things like that. That's the opposite of what I teach. So everything that I teach is mostly online, and everything is fully scalable based on audience size and growth. And it's the one-to-many idea, so that your time, your energy, your ideas, your stuff. And I think some of this comes from the fact that I am inherently introverted. So I can't go out and talk to 100 people. I will like shrivel up into like a ball by the end of the day. So I think that some of this is also just the fact that like I only have a limited amount of like peopling. My team calls it Jess is humaned a lot today. She needs to rest. So, I think that because of that, it allows me to actually reach a lot more people with the message that I have, with trainings and teachings and things like that, instead of having to like have the same conversation many, 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 many times over. I'm actually not only I teach people leverage in their business, but I'm also following the same guidelines and principles when I'm talking about, really making sure that I'm leveraging my own time, my own energy, my own space. Right. So everything that we do is teaching the one to many, which is, we teach both the organic and paid traffic when it comes to social media, when it comes to online, building any kind of online audience. And really the idea here is we teach people to build relationships at scale. And this is a relationship-based business. This is a human-to-human business. As much as people want to be seen as doctors and lawyers, and we're not. And we're helping people transition from where they are now to where they want to be. And I think so many agents make the mistake, whether they've been in the industry for 30 years or that whether they're brand new, of trying to sell the airplane.
Mhm.
And everyone's talking about, the transaction. And yes, the current market matters, but really at the end of the day, what marketing truly is just having the ability to articulate what's in the back of someone's mind, your ideal client avatar's mind, better than they can. And when you can do that, they will automatically credit you with the solution. And so really at the end of the day, the deep psychological understanding of the people that you're trying to speak to, that's what creates the head nod, those aha moments, those, oh my gosh, like this person gets me. And that connection will inherently build trust. So really, like, all of this comes down to like funnels and marketing and tech and all of this. Those are literally just the mechanisms to get the message out. And I think that that's also something that's a big misconception, especially in real estate, is a funnel is not a series of opt-ins. A funnel is a psychological journey from stranger to client. And if you aren't building in that psychology and really teaching and really connecting with people where they're at and helping them move through that psychology, then really at the end of the day, all you're doing is collecting phone numbers and email addresses that you're going to have to wade through. And it just becomes, it becomes tiring as opposed to inspiring and exciting. So
Okay.
yeah, I know that was a lot.
That is a lot. So I'm just so methodical. So, okay. So
Yes.
one is the marketing, like you
Mhm.
said, right? And I love what you said, marketing is thinking your ideal avatar, what's in the back of their head, so then it's about putting that out there, and then it's taking them, and I completely agree with you, taking them through a funnel. So, and that communication. So like you said, you could have thousands. I've met people who said, I have thousands of people in my database and I haven't converted one person. It's worthless.
Mhm.
Right? So what do you think that secret sauce is in, let's say someone does reach out to you. Let's say it's a Facebook lead.
Yeah.
And it's a Facebook lead. Like, what does that funnel process look like that you say is a success?
So I wouldn't even like the reach out is kind of like the end result. Where I would actually start is when that person first comes into your world, like they're just becoming aware of you, whether it's organically or it's through an initial lead generation ad. That person comes in, and then either through social media, and very consistent social media. We teach 9 different types of content to take that person from stranger to client. I'm going to break it down more simply into 3 major buckets. So the 3 buckets that we use are authority value content, and personal content, and social proof. So your authority content, and this all comes down to, and is all kind of starts with the idea that you have to niche down. If you're trying to speak to everyone, you're speaking to no one, right? So the whole, like, I'm here for all of your real estate needs. If you were looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest from here to Timbuktu, that's not going to work from a marketing perspective. People are looking for specialists. And if you're trying to speak to everyone, then your actual, like, your pains, problems, fears, and desires that you need in order to create relevant messaging will be too vague to connect to anyone. So first things first is always going to be niche down, figure out who you want to speak to. A niche is not a type of property. Luxury is not a niche. You want to niche down in terms of human being. So are they upsizing? Are they downsizing? Are they first-time buyers? Are they corporate women? Are they the LGBT community? Like, you want to niche down in terms of human. And then from there, what you want to do is understand those people at a much deeper level. So market research is always your friend. Never start marketing, never do anything without market research. You could be the best copywriter in the entire world. You cannot create desire in a marketplace. You can only illuminate it. So the message comes from the market. It doesn't matter how much you think that you still need to interview, and you still need to do that market research. So then from there, we come into the 3 buckets. So authority content is going to be things that, like, trainings, teachings, like questions that you get asked on a regular basis, making sure that you're actually giving a tremendous amount of value. So the questions that you get on a regular basis from clients or from prospects or from anyone, answer those questions in that content. Your personal content, and this is the piece that I think most agents don't do well, because they think, oh, I have to be professional. And the truth really is if you want to create a loyal tribe of people and you want to create evangelism in your business, the personal content is actually the most important piece. And we don't want people who kind of like you. We want people who absolutely love you. So there's an element of polarization that comes along with the personal content, which, and I say this to our members all the time, you have to own your weird. If you don't show up fully authentically as yourself, it doesn't matter if you are a crazy cat lady, I'm a crazy cat lady, or you know, like whatever those weird quirks that you have are, you need to share those, because people will be essentially like compelled by those things, where you, instead of just look like you're just another agent in a suit that's out there that's spouting the same old stuff, and you're not going to get filtered out as noise in the same way. So, you know, personal content is going to be personal beliefs, personal philosophy, personal story, things like that. Then your third bucket is social proof. A lot of agents online think social proof are just listed, just sold, under contract, things like that. That is the opposite of what I'm talking about. Okay. So those kinds of pieces of content, they don't work. And if they do, well, I'm not even going to say if they do, because they really don't. And really at the end of the day, marketing is all about providing value, and that's not valuable to the majority of people that are following you. And from a social media standpoint, people only move every 3 to 7 years. So if you're only relevant to them and you're only putting something in front of them that could maybe be relevant every 3 to 7 years, you're going to have a lot of audience churn. So you have to give people a reason to follow you in between. So then for the social proof side of things, we're looking at case studies, testimonials, and PR or media. And those are going to be the 3 things that not only are going to set you apart in terms of authority, but they're also like something like a case study. That's what HGTV is. HGTV is a giant case study. Every single show that we get pulled into, we get pulled into the story. And so that's really what you want to be doing, is you want to be telling the story of your ideal client so that they can say, oh my gosh, like I resonate with that. That's exactly where I am. And that's where I want to be. And oh my gosh, Jessica actually like facilitated all of that, and she must be the person that I should work with. Right. And all of this also comes down to consistency. Consistency in marketing is the most important thing in the world. Consistency builds trust. Right. And so we have a part of our methodology that we call omnipresence. And the omnipresence part of it, like there's 3 major reasons why it works so well. Top of mind awareness. We build trust in 2 different ways online. And then the third one is something I call the halo of success. And it's the idea that, especially from an ad standpoint, you know, it's going deeper rather than wider. We're not just carpet bombing everywhere with ads and taking whatever comes back at us. I think there's a lot of people who are boosting posts and just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something's going to stick. This is very much like targeted, finding the right people, putting the right message in front of the right people on the right platform at the right time. And that's what really good marketing is, so that you can take that person from stranger to client and get the come list me calls, which really at the end of the day is what people really want. They don't want a business full of chasing. And so really at the end of the day, what all of our testimonials look like are, oh my gosh, I just had another person reach out to me telling me, hey, I'm pre-qualified for 900,000. I'm ready to go. Are you taking on clients right now? Or will you be our realtor? And like, that's the kind of quality of lead and the quality of conversation that you get when you actually properly facilitate the psychology.
Chandra will show you how to value homes so that you win every listing, close more sales, and serve more grateful sellers in this unusual market. Mike shares the secrets of fix and flip investors. Investor sales will level out the ups and downs of traditional sales while creating a reliable and predictable stream of new listings. Have you ever lost a sale for your buyers because you were outbid or your sellers chose the wrong buyer contract? In this class, Chandra will provide you with the tools to close more sales and make more money. Thrive also has content-rich interviews like this one with the world-class real estate investor Mark Pellet. Check out the tips from top producers from the main menu.
Okay, that I never really correlated the two, and it just clicked with me. I've had a lot of people ask me that lately. Are you able to take us on? Can you help us? I'm like,
Mm.
absolutely, right? It's a great feeling. Okay, so there was so much value there. I'm doing my best just to keep it. I was like, oh, I should get out pen and paper here. I can't. So first of all, I love how you say the niche and humanize. So my niche are people who have my values, right? So that's my niche. Okay, that's a big part of my niche. And so I love how you said be authentic and real. And I love how you said, the funnel is consistent and having that value that they want. And it's so funny you say, I always say that when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one, we're twins. We're probably related somehow. So I am Canadian and American. So so there was some other golden nuggets in there that I wanted you to go ahead and highlight a little bit more on that funnel process. So can you just recap those three? So you've got your niche, it's in the back of their head, and just recap those three again for everyone.
Okay, so the three major buckets are going to be authority value. Your second bucket is personal, which is going to consist of, personal beliefs, personal philosophy, personal story. And then your third bucket is social proof, which is going to consist of testimonials, case studies, PR.
And I love that you said, I have never been a fan and I've never done it, just sold, like all that. It just doesn't.
I think that I think it's easy. And I think that a lot of agents don't know what to post. They see other agents doing it. And it's become kind of a bad habit of the industry where, well, so-and-so is doing it. So I think there's a lot of copying that happens in the real estate industry because there's a lot of people who just, don't really know what to do, especially when it comes to online stuff. So they'll see like one little piece of something from someone who's successful and they'll assume that they can take that and use it and it's going to work for them. And that's never the case, right? You never really know what's going on in the background. Like people will say to me, oh, you're not running that many ads. I'm running like 50 ads at any one time. But like they're like the only people that they show to are the people who they're super relevant to and the people who are at a point where I can take them through that psychological journey. So again, like that idea of going deeper rather than wider, you want to be the big fish in the small pond. I'm about to sneeze. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So Jess, I like how you said that because I know that's another gold nugget. So if someone ever is rejected, like I didn't get that buyer, I didn't get the listing, you know what? Be grateful you didn't get them because that just means it's more time for the right person out there. That's how I look at it.
100%.
So there's two things I want to highlight because actually the gentleman the other day reached out to me. He goes, how do I build authority? How do I build authority? And I was looking at his online presence and it was just so like all over the place. It really wasn't authority, right? So I discovered his niche, his passion, his authority. What insight do you have for people out there for authority?
So authority there's a lot of different pieces from the psychology standpoint of authority. Not only do you have to show people that you know what you're talking about, that you can give really great value, but you also need to show people that you've helped others achieve exactly what they're trying to achieve, which is where the social proof aspect comes in. The other thing that really helps authority is the PR or the media attention, right? People, unfortunately, we live in a world where people can fake reviews, where people are, manufacturing or, things like that with testimonials, which is why I always suggest screenshots or videos because like they're far less likely to be altered. And then from a PR standpoint, like if you have a media outlet coming to you and interviewing you about something in particular, what they're doing is they're propping up your authority, right? So let's say that I'm just going to use Toronto as an example. Like the Toronto Star is like kind of like the New York Times here. And if there's an agent who's featured quite often in terms of asking or the expert in terms of the market and what's going on and things like that, people are going to see that and it automatically is going to increase their authority or their perceived authority in the market. And again, like there's ways to leverage that. Don't just like get a PR article or something like that and just like say, oh, well, it was really great. My business increased for 2 weeks because people saw it. You can take that article, especially if it lives online, and you can leverage that for years to come. So I mean, even like recently on both Entrepreneur and Forbes have come to me and said, okay, how do we teach, like what are the key things on social media that agents need to know? And again, and because like those people came to me, I'm going to use those articles and I'm going to put them in front of people, and I'm going to leverage that for a period for as long as I can in order to help increase the authority that I'm trying to build. It's exactly the same thing with agents. And the thing that I get told all the time, or the common objection that I get is, something along the lines of, my market is so saturated, I can't stand out. I live in a market with 58,000 agents, 58,000 licensed realtors, right? Everyone says like, oh, everyone in Florida has a real estate license. Toronto's way worse. So, but the truth really is that, you all, like, there's basically everyone. And then there's going to be that, like, there's going to be the 20%, and then there's going to be the 5%. And all of that comes down to authority, visibility, consistency, and making sure that you truly understand the psychology of what you're trying to do. Back in the day, it was the person who had the most billboards. Billboards are astronomically expensive now.
Mm-hmm.
There is a much better way, and people are online, right? Like, this is going to date me and it's going to be awful, but when I got my license, I got a big gray pager. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And nowadays, if you think about it, every single person who you see someone sitting at a cafe, you see someone on a date, unfortunately, and everyone's staring at their phones.
I know. I don't like that either. Yeah.
But
yeah, it's reality. It's reality. So before COVID, I remember thinking, going to all these restaurants, nobody's really human interacting. So
yeah,
a lot of times I'll just turn off my phone or put it away, and people are like, oh, you don't have your phone on you. No, I am here to connect with you right
Yeah.
now at this moment. So, okay. So Jess, what is your favorite form of marketing? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Google? Is it YouTube? Like, what's your favorite?
wherever that niche lives.
Great
So
answer.
it's not about you or me and like what platform I like. I like Instagram the best, but most of my business comes, well, I would say like, if we were going to ratio it, more of my business comes from Facebook than Instagram.
So those are top two though, right? Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, I would say so.
Now with the, can you expand on the latest laws and rules? Because some people would in the past go in and do an ad based on income or, things of that nature. Can you expand on what is no longer allowed? Because I keep hearing of real estate agents getting in trouble, and I don't want people to get in trouble. So what's not allowed and what is allowed on these
So,
ads?
I mean, Facebook has completely removed like 5,000 targeting options. We just don't even have the options anymore. And I think a lot of the time it freaks people out because they're like, I don't know how to make my ad relevant. The truth really is if you were relying on all of those targeting options to put your ads in front of the right people, then, you probably weren't creating really great messaging anyway. So it's still just as easy to, Facebook's no longer charging you for impressions on a front end conversion ad or on a lead generation ad. So it doesn't matter how many people see it. It's about how many people click through on it. And so instead of trying to like target or we don't have those options anymore. We don't have a million different ways that we can like micro target people, but we can do it with messaging. And so that becomes really, really important. Again, understanding the psychology, understanding how to get the right person to click through on something so from there you can pixel them, you can retarget them with the psychological content in order to get them moved through that funnel.
So just to be clear, when you're talking about, the chat, the automated chat in Facebook or Instagram.
Oh, so like ManyChat. Yeah. So ManyChat was something that we used to love and it worked really well, but we can't use it in the same way. I actually find that, really good retargeting with really good messaging and a fantastically dialed in email sequence is usually enough.
I agree.
I think that like the ManyChat stuff, did it work really well? Sure. But who knows what's going to happen? Facebook may come out with their own version. That might have been, who knows why they shut it down. I think some of it was, they're really trying to crack down on spam. And there were a lot of people who were misusing it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so we spoke about that in regards to the ads and the latest. And in email CRM systems, what's your favorite?
If just for email, I like ActiveCampaign. The delivery is really high and the tracking in it is really important. You have to, there are a couple of brokerage CRMs out there that people love and that people like live and die by that don't have email tracking in it. You cannot see whether or not your emails are successful if you can't see the analytics on them. So I really love ActiveCampaign. It's super easy to use. But if you're looking at like the whole shebang, if you're looking at like and you know, I mean, it depends on what you're trying to use the CRM for. For our 7-figure agent program, like the agents who are creating scale and team and automation and like creating that finely tuned machine of the business, we usually use Follow Up Boss.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there is a lot more customization in there and it's not glitchy. So we usually pull people, depending on the brokerage, but we usually pull people away from the brokerage CRMs, even the people who have drunk the Kool-Aid and they love them. We usually pull them into something that's going to be a little bit more reliable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've even seen that with agents on my team. Yeah, who actually one of them superstar. She loves Follow Up Us.
Mm.
She loves that one. So absolutely, I agree with
But
you.
I mean,
Okay.
the CRM's not going to be able to do everything. You're still going to need Zapier. You're still going to need the integrations. You still might need Asana or Airtable or something else. Like it's not going to do everything.
I know. It's just, why can't there just be one place, one stop shop? It's like all these different funnels. Okay, so we spoke about, I believe, pretty well for the new agents.
Mhm.
Let's talk about what is some valuable information that you want to give today to the 6-figure agent? Like what is some golden nuggets you can give to them?
What got you here is not going to get you there. So a lot of people will get to the 6-figure mark and then they'll just try to double down on what got them to 6 figures. And that's never going to be the right answer. Business in general, and I think this is something that sometimes it takes us a long time to realize, is that when you are in business, your job is solving problems, whether it's solving other people's problems or it's solving problems within your business. It's really important that, you know, you can get to 6 figures prospecting. Sure you can, but you will let, you know, I had a call with someone the other day and he was like, well, I'm prospecting 3 hours a day, but I want to double my business. And I was like, okay, great. Do you have time to prospect for 6 hours a day and to handle twice as many clients as you have now? And he was like, well, no. And I was like, so something's broken.
Mm-hmm.
And so there needs to be a complete shift, and business models, as you change and get to different levels, have to change with you. And so, you know, the idea that like things have to be done manually, that all needs to be shifted. So one of the first things that we do when someone comes into like a 7-figure, like a program to get them to 7 figures, is we task audit them. We do like a full task audit of everything that they're doing in their day. And then we break it down into $10 an hour tasks, you know, $50 an hour tasks, $250 an hour tasks, $500, $1,000. And then we say, okay, these are the things that have to come off your plate now, whether it's a VA, whether it's a piece of software. And the order that we tend to go through things is eliminate, automate, outsource, which I got from Tim Ferriss years and years ago. So a lot of agents, what they'll do is the very first thing that they'll do is they'll outsource. They'll hire an assistant, or they'll, you know, try to give it to another human without looking at whether or not it's efficient. Can it be eliminated? Is it redundant? Number two, can it be automated? Why would you pay someone $10, $15, $20 an hour to do something that a piece of software can do for $100 a month?
Mm-hmm.
So then we look at the automation, what can be automated, you know, how can we make things more efficient? And then we go to the outsource. Then we look at, okay, how can this be done by someone else? What kind of skill level does this require? And that's really where the leverage comes in, because you have to be able to buy back some of that time so that you can focus on only the high income generating activities, which are going to be things like, you know, creating that content, making sure, and just so that you know, like, I am not a believer in outsourcing marketing. I don't believe that it's a good idea. I've in my life probably gone through 50 agencies. I just don't think I don't think that anyone is going to fully understand, not only there's a lot of a lot of marketers out there that think that real estate agents are an easy target because they hate doing the marketing. But unless that person has gone out, interviewed your clients, truly understands not only the business, has been a realtor, understands things at a very minute level, they're never going to be able to create the kind of marketing that you could create on your own. And if you're going to bring someone into your team in order to do that, then you have to master it. You have to learn to be dangerous before you can teach someone else to be dangerous. So that's something that I think is really important. But with the leverage and with the scaling, and as someone's trying to grow, again, the marketing, the lead generation side of it has to be unlimitedly scalable. You have to be able to essentially create business on demand. And then the next part of it is being able to making sure that you can also service all of those people at a really high level, which we teach a signature system so that every single team, every single agent who we work with has a signature system or a unique methodology that helps their ideal client base get the results that they're looking for. And we use it as a marketing mechanism, of course, but we also use it as a scaling mechanism so that everyone on the team, doesn't matter what softwares people are using, doesn't matter who, like how big or small the team is, everyone on the team has a very specific set of standard operating procedures to make sure that the execution of the service is always at a high level and is always consistent.
Okay, I love what you said. A lot of more gold nuggets. I'm a big fan of, I'm friends. If anyone's listening and wants to reach out to them, tell the owners, that you heard Jessica Peterson talk, Diversified Robotics. They have a great automation system. I know that one in the real estate industry are using to automate everything with artificial intelligence or robotic process automation. And then I love how you said utilizing the human connection, Showami. Have you heard of that, Jess? Showami?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I love it. It's showami.com. A lot of agents are utilizing that, like you said, scalability. If they can't go show a house or do anything at that moment, they just go in, Showami for under $40. They have an agent who goes in and shows a house, right? So I know some agents are using that for their scalability now, never even leaving their house. Maybe they're high risk because of COVID or anything of that nature. So, and you are the expert. I know that for someone who is at the six figures, who wants to get seven figures, to come to you to create that whole system. So if someone wanted to do that, do you take them through a mastermind? Is it online training? Is it one-on-one? How long do you work together?
So we have a couple of different programs. So our newer agent program is called the Accelerated Agent. It's online course plus coaching and support. It's lifetime. So both of our first two programs are lifetime access, which includes all updates, tech changes, market changes, everything for life, as well as support, coaching, access to everything that we do for life. The second one is the 6 to 7 figures, the marketing foundations. That one is called the Listings Lab. Again, it's lifetime access. And then we have our top end program, which is by invitation. Usually, like if somebody books a call with us, we'll invite them into that program if we think that they're the right fit. It's called the 7-Figure Agent. It's a 1-year program, and it's mastermind, online course, coaching. There's one-on-one support. There's Slack support. Like we're in your business, and there's a daily cadence of communication in that program.
Okay, so there's 3 ways to work with you. So You've got the new, which is the lifetime support, and then you've got the 6-figure, wants to go 7 figures, same type model as the accelerated. And then you've got this very elite invite only third one, right? Okay. Yep. I absolutely love that. If anybody wants to know more, where do you want them to go?
I think the best place to start is going to be our Facebook group. So there's tons of trainings and free resources and all kinds of stuff in there too. It's facebook.com/groups/the Listings Lab.
Okay. So it's the Listing Labs in Facebook.
Listings Lab. So there's an S, listings with an S, lab, no S.
Okay, I got it. Okay, listings. Is there a the in front of it?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that. I know you're a superstar, and I'm really proud of you going out there. Anyone listening, go out there and do what your purpose, your calling is. Listen to it. I'm grateful you did, and look where you're at today. I love it, and thank you for all your wonderful inspiration, valuable info. This is so awesome.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to you. So.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, everyone out there, keep on, thriving out there. Don't forget to subscribe, click like, share this, tell all your friends about it. Thrive Real Estate Education, the only national platform out there right now that I know of offering free CE. So keep on thriving, everyone. Have an amazing wow day.
Visit thriverealestateeducation.com for free video CE. You really can't go wrong. 24/7,